And now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Foxwoods Resort Casino here at Mashantucket, Pequot, tribal nation of Connecticut. Tonight, HBO World Championship Boxing welcomes you to professional boxing for your entertainment. Brought to you by Prince Promotions in association with Codemaster, Phantom Boxing Incorporated, and ART. All the bouts are sanctioned by the Mashantucket Pequot Athletic Commission. The 3 judges assigned at ringside for this first bout will be Glenn Feldman, Tommy Kazmarek, and Melvina Lathan. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Steve Smoger. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a battle of champions. 10 rounds of boxing in the junior welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing brown trimmed with gold and weighing in at 141 pounds. His professional record, 32 victories, including 22 knockouts with only 2 defeats. He currently holds the IBA world title, not on the line tonight. From Coachella, California, here is Antonio Diaz. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white, trimmed with black, weighing in at 140 pounds. His professional record, 35 victories, including 26 knockouts with 9 defeats. He, too, holds a world title for the WBU, not on the line tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the comeback fighter of the year, the pride of Lowell, Massachusetts, Irish Micky Ward.
All right, gentlemen, you're giving your instructions at the weigh-in. I want you to obey my commands at all times. Respect the bell, and above all, protect yourself. Touch up, touch up. God bless.
Micky Ward is the last of the tough Irish-American fighters. Does he still have enough left at 34, going up against a tough Mexican-American fighter who is just 24.
Antonio Diaz scored a stirring victory earlier this year on HBO over Ivan Robinson to help set up his possible path to contendership in the division. In his last fight, expected to be merely a tune-up fight against a little-known Argentine named Omar Weiss. He got himself into desperate trouble in the early rounds, was badly hurt twice by Weiss. At one point, his trainer, Lee Espinoza, was saying, if you don't start moving and fighting, I'm going to stop the fight. Managed to come back and get a critical, much-needed decision over Weiss to set up this bout with Ward.
Ward has got to have a strategy this time. All about punching, looking for a knockout. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen with one shot here and there. He's going to understand he's going to have to distribute that power over the whole 10 rounds. Having a quick knockout is not necessarily going to happen. And Diaz, of course, has got to stay solid, jabbing, and his endurance can pull it out.
And when you say Ward needs to have a strategy this time, you mean, of course, in contrast to the Shea Neary fight, where he just went out and banged away against a guy who was just there to bang away against him.
And he's in with Diaz, who's a solid fighter. You can hurt him once, and he'll recover quick, and he's going to come back and be in position. Not to be hit again, but out of position for what you got him with previously.
Now, as I mentioned, a well-trained offensive fighter who throws combinations of punches from a lot of different angles. But mostly he sets up and works behind the jab and tries to fit in the right hand. Micky Ward's best punch is a left hook to the body that he throws at an upward angle, kind of a hooker cut. And he has hurt opponents with it frequently in the past, including Shea Neary.
He's a puncher. Micky Ward is a puncher. He's not intending to win this thing on points. He's going to try to get a knockout.
Diaz is making it clear that he would prefer not to make this a fight exclusively at close quarters.
Diaz able to block most of Ward's shots from this distance with his gloves.
And if you are in Ward's corner. That's what you want him to do, is jab a little bit. Jab, make things, bring things closer, set things up. You got 10 rounds to do all of that tough stuff.
So it begins as a boxing match. And Antonio Diaz has landed more punches from range in the first 2.5 minutes of the fight. Diaz with a small reach advantage. Of course, it doesn't take much if you set up just right. And there's Micky Ward getting that left hook in for the first time. His crowd responding to the punch.
Right there. La vaselina. I got it. Don't worry. I put the vaseline. Agarra el bate tú de allá abajo. You're doing good. You're smart. Three in the corner. One in the center, two in the right.
Toño, a little more busy, baby. Don't, andas tight a little bit. Suéltese, no tiene nada. You're a lot faster. You're doing pretty good. Toño, you're doing.
Couple bucks? Yeah. Couple When you're getting close, hands in. Like chin down, hands in. Keep your chin down, hands in. Work. Let's go. Take them out whatever you want, man. Right? Yeah. Let's go. Top, bro. Let's go. Joey.
Well, you can see that CompuBox numbers didn't show many landed punches for either fighter in round number one as they stood out at range. By CompuBox estimation, Diaz landed 3 of 39 jabs and Ward only 1 of 43. So together the two fighters threw 82 jabs and landed only 4 in round one. Harold Letterman saw the round for Antonio Diaz.
Micky Ward is holding his balance pretty good in the first couple of rounds, which means he's in good shape.
Ward trying to go low to the body against Diaz. Against Ivan Robinson, Diaz was willing to take punches, seemingly almost contemptuous of Robinson's right hand, and said later, he's not really a 140-pound fighter, he couldn't hurt me. Against Ward, it will be entirely different.
Micky Ward is willing to take 2 or 3 shots just to get in that big left hook.
Sometimes Ward will switch to a southpaw stance to try to set up the left hand.
That's one.
Ward jumping in with the little left. Diaz with a left of his own before he backs away. And now doubling up with the left to the body and the head is Antonio Diaz.
Diaz is starting to go to the body and getting some residuals back. Made Micky Ward abandon his head shots and go to the body also.
Well, you had to suspect it might become a body punching duel. Both guys like to work there.
Ward did not want to go to the body. He was just made to do so. When a guy hits you hard, you try to retaliate. That's what I said about earlier. He needed a strategy of throwing several body shots, then going back to the head attack.
The left hook by Diaz, back with the right uppercut. Ward throwing one punch to Diaz's 4 in that exchange.
Ward is desperately trying to get in close, feeling that he is a more sophisticated fighter at very close quarters. But Diaz just doesn't want to stay there for him.
Yeah, the fight is starting to go closer and closer for Ward's advantage. There's no more boxing now.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Diaz lives up to his promise to back away at angles and maintain distance between himself and Ward. Ward has managed to get into the phone booth. Now let's see if he can stay there. They trade uppercuts. And Diaz is a pretty good infighter himself.
He doesn't want to fight in. That's the difference.
Right? You want him, you get a punch. Keep your hands in close, punch. You know, when you throw the hook, double up in a hook. Don't take unnecessary punishment. You know, move your head, hands in close. Right? He's spinning him back here. Push him back. Be mean. This is your life right here.
Moviéndose para los lados. Come on. You gotta listen, baby, you gotta listen. Huh? Because they'll give it to him over here. If you stay with him like that, any little throw, they'll give it to him.
Pasos laterales, tirando.
Good thing that you're pushing him, but that's good.
Good job, corner.
All right, come on.
Round 3 of the War of Wills between Antonio Diaz and Micky Ward. Round 1 was a boxing match. Diaz at range as he prefers it. And in round 2, Ward got inside and fought at close quarters the way he likes it.
Let it punch out. Good.
Double left hook by Diaz. Matching Ward's best weapon, poke for poke.
Diaz is a long ways from home to try to box and get a decision. He's going to have to mix it up a little more than what he's doing.
Hard right hand by Micky Ward. Lands flush on the jaw of Diaz.
That right hand is a punch he didn't have through much of his career because he was hurt so much with it. A couple of years ago, he had an operation in which a part of his pelvis bone was attached to the back of the right hand, and so he's now starting to try to use it more.
Not many fighters get a bone graft in the middle of their career and keep on fighting. And Micky Ward is one tough dude, and again the right hand lands from distance.
It's because he was so successful early on with the left hooks. He's got his mind, the other guy, thinking about the left hook, and he can catch him with good right hands.
Well, if you're going to fight Micky Ward, you better think about the left hook.
For about a month.
Push off, push off.
You better go to bed thinking about it and wake up thinking about it.
Very good.
Micky Ward's corner told him, don't take unnecessary punishment.
And Steve Silver warning Antonio Diaz to keep him up after a low blow landed against Ward.
Diaz is getting the best of it inside, and if he does that, this is going to be his fight.
If the judges give him credit for it. Another low blow by Diaz. This time Ward was blocking Smoger's view. Ward digging to the body with the left hook. Diaz countering with left hooks upstairs. Ward comes right back to the ribcage.
Diaz does not want to get into a slugging match with Ward. Got to keep this a boxing match. Use that long extra reach that you got.
Not easy for Diaz. He likes to fight too.
Right, and he's 10 years younger, George. Keep that in mind.
Ward lands a big left hook to punctuate round 3. The crowd loves the action.
I didn't hear the tap.
And let's see if the world light heavyweight champion watching in Pensacola, Florida loves the action too. Later on, we'll have a live interview with Roy Jones. Roy, you've done brilliant work as the expert commentator on Boxing After Dark. What do you think of the first 3 rounds of Micky Ward and Antonio Diaz?
I'm loving this fight. I think it's a war of wills. I think both fighters are looking good, but Micky Ward is doing a great job of making the younger fighter fight his fight.
All right, Roy, we'll be back later on to talk with you about your upcoming battle with Eric Harding, September 9 in New Orleans. Roy Jones taking time out from training to join us live tonight.
All right. Fourth round.
Fourth round. The kid coming into a man's game now.
Yeah.
All right? These are you from one, right? Hands in close.
CompuBox numbers through round number 3. Diaz 67 out of 203, 33%. Ward 43 out of 192, 22%. Micky Ward is not a CompuBox fighter. He loses rounds, and then tries to turn it around with one big rally or a big body punch, and he's done it many times. Harold, how'd you score the first 3?
Okay, Jim, I think it's a close fight. 2-1. won 29-28, Antonio Diaz. Jim, I thought he won the first round in the jabbing match. The second round, he just outworked him. But Micky Ward came back with those real nice right-hand leads in the third round. But, Jim, I got to point out, crowd noise is going to have a big effect on this scoring. I mean, every time Micky Ward lands, the place goes nuts.
Roy Jones was excellent. This older guy has allowed the younger guy to get into a slugging and mauling, and that's what now he's got the older guy looking like a young boxer. He made him do what he wanted to do.
Right hand by Diaz, backs Ward up. Both fighters landing more squarely and solidly as the fight progresses.
You know, as I look at the size of both of these fighters, George, in the days when weigh-ins were on the day of the fight, both of these guys would be at least welterweights. I mean, you don't remember 140-pound guys this size.
I mean, they are big. Look like middleweight.
Ward in particular looks like a middleweight.
And if you're wondering, folks, why we weren't able to show you their weights right before the fight, it's because the local commission would not permit us to weigh them.
And that would be the Mashantucket Pequot Indian Commission, because we are on a reservation here. We are not being governed by the state of Connecticut, but rather by the Indian tribe which owns the Foxwoods Gaming Casino.
Diaz is doing a boxing job, but he's not moving with his jab. He's hooking and moving, which means we expel a lot more energy.
Four-punch combination by Diaz, and a right hand to the body lands flush and backs Ward up.
I think Diaz senses that he may be stronger than Ward.
He's had a lot of advantages all along, but I guess Ward has been able to take them away from him mentally.
Well, Ward lost the first 6 rounds to a fighter named Alfonso Sanchez in a landslide, and then felled Sanchez with one vicious left hook to the body. As we said, it's not about winning rounds necessarily for Micky Ward.
That was the single most amazing fight I think I've ever seen on HBO. He lost virtually every half minute of the fight, and then one body shot ended the fight.
Larry, let's take a look at a 140-pound graphic. You familiarize us with the top fighters in the division.
Costa is recognized as the junior welterweight champion. Zab Judah and Sharmba Mitchell, both southpaw boxer punchers, also have belts. The significance here is the winner could get a fight with one of them. Diaz would prefer it to be Tszyu because he would better be matched against a Tszyu who does come straight forward.
Judah already has a win over Micky Ward a couple of years ago. And here's another look at.
Here we see Diaz as he stands in close and batters Ward with a barrage of punches.
Has that left hook to start things off by Ward.
So far, Ward landing 36% of his power shots, according to CompuBox. That means Diaz is doing the job he wants to do, defending against the left hook to the body. But it might only take a couple of big ones to put Ward in a good position.
Another right hand by Ward.
Diaz so left-hand conscious. Ward able to land the straight right hand with ease.
Good footwork by Diaz. You don't want to show a guy like this that you need footwork with him.
Well, if he's going to fight a guy like Costa, he's going to need some of it.
You give a guy like Ward more courage by using your footwork because he think, hey, there must be something wrong. You're dancing.
If that indicates that I think Diaz is going to win the fight, I guess that's what I think right now.
Both fighters indicated that if they could get a title shot, they certainly preferred to fight Tszyu because, as they both said, you can find him. Of course, finding Tszyu might be the beginning of your problems. Trading body shots. Diaz fighting Ward's fight and giving at least as good as he's taking.
I think he's getting better, Jim.
Difference is Micky Ward is making Diaz do what he's doing, not vice versa.
Well, he better find another plan then.
Unless he can just wear him down.
I mean, here's a guy who punches for a living, slang and mix it up for a living. That's what you want the guy, your opponent, to do. Do it with me. It may look like you're getting the worst of it, but keep at it.
Well, this is what we expected, folks.
You're always saying, George, don't follow a puncher around. Even though Antonio Diaz is doing well, he's following a puncher around to do it.
And he's fighting with him. The only chance that Ward has right now is a lucky shot.
There's a big left hook by Ward as he steps back in on Diaz and seizes the initiative for a moment. Diaz with 2 right uppercuts to gain it back. Big left hook by Diaz.
Diaz is showing more guts than I've ever seen him show.
Boy, this is a Gillette Friday night fight, guys. A throwback.
Crowd loves it.
Respira, respira duro.
Ese quedó. Déjeme hablar, ok. Déjeme hablar. Coño. Coño, he's tired. Coño, he's tired. Listen to me. He's tired. He gave it all he got right there in this round, okay? Coño, listen.
Yeah.
He gave it all.
He's taking the boy out of him now, all right? Okay? This is your game, all right? This is it. You're the champion, all right? Okay? You're old, you're washed up. Look, you're fresh now, Micky. He is dead.
This is how they script them in the movies, folks. Shoulder to shoulder, punch for punch. You heard in the corner of Diaz, his trainer, Lee Espinosa, saying or feeling that that was Ward's last hurrah. In the middle of the fight, that he may have spent himself.
I think it's just a pep talk. That's all. You pep talk your guy when he's expelled a lot of his energy and hasn't gotten any returns. Pep him up.
Well, we'll find out soon enough.
165 total punches thrown in the last round. 126 of them were power shots. You saw that Diaz connected at nearly a 50% rate. So again, he's fighting Micky Ward's kind of fight, but he's doing awfully well at it for the time being. Can he do it for 12 rounds?
Micky Ward goes to the body with a left hook, comes back up. And Diaz's head is right there whenever he wants a shot. That's not the way you want to beat a guy. Use your excellent boxing ability.
Good right uppercut. Second one by Diaz.
Best fight since Play It to the Bone.
That's what it reminds me of.
This is Play It to the Bone, right?
The real bone.
I mean, you can see it. Woody Harrelson as Micky Ward and Antonio Banderas as Antonio Diaz.
The greatest fight movie ever made.
Is that because we were in it?
Perhaps.
Almost midway through the bout.
Blood from Micky Ward's mouth.
Crowd getting more than its money's worth in Foxwoods. And this is exactly what I was asking you about, George, when I said, does the preliminary bout have an effect on the main event?
This has an effect on the whole boxing world when you see a good fight like this.
Well, it's been an unbelievable year on HBO boxing. Starting with Eric Morales against Marco Antonio Barrera, February in Las Vegas. Then you had Fernando Vargas against Ike Cuarte, April in Las Vegas. The unforgettable Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya Ward, June 17 in Los Angeles. And now here we are in August with these two guys banging away in a fight so far for the time capsule.
This is exactly the kind of fight, as Roy Jones said, that Micky Ward can survive. He can live like this. Diaz is an excellent boxer. Why would he want to get into a fight like this?
Because he loves it. Because he loves to fight.
That's a good answer.
I think, again, going back to before, that he senses that his youth, his strength will tell.
How do you feel? Glad. Okay, well, let's do it.
You got him tired, but mira, Toño, remember I said you don't have to throw hard, just peep, peep, peep. Ahí lo agarraste one time. One time you did listen.
Put your hands on.
You do not have to. Toño, you don't have to throw hard, baby. Come on, just.
Is that a punch? Keep your hands in close. Right? Make sure you come alive, man. Come on.
It's hard to come alive when you take shots like that. And yet, here he comes right back with a right hand. Neither fighter has the firepower, or both fighters have the jaws that they can't hurt each other with one punch.
They threw 161 punches in the 6th round. 145 of them were power shots. 61 of them landed. Harold, how do you have it halfway through?
Okay, Jim. 59-55, 5 rounds to 1. Antonio Diaz. Jim, I got to tell you, I think Micky Ward's fighting Antonio Diaz's fight. Antonio Diaz is a heck of a fighter inside. He's got a tremendous left hook to the body, good right hands, good right uppercuts. He's just outgunning him. And I tell you, Jim, to me, it's just Antonio Diaz, just two quick cross combinations. Micky's best shots are one at a time. So Diaz winning on clean punching.
We're in sync here, Harold.
But it's a big crowd, largely supportive of Ward, and I have to wonder if the ringside judges don't have it just a tiny bit closer than that. Maybe we'll get a chance to find out if both guys can make it through 12 rounds.
It's 10 rounds, Jim.
10 rounds, excuse me. 10 rounds, exactly right, non-title fight, so only 4 rounds remaining, or 3.5 from this point forward. Thank you, Larry.
Diaz corner told him to take some of the power off of the punch and just tap him, move him in there, get him accurate. They realize too that he's not doing a good thing throwing all these power shots.
Well, it was interesting to hear Lee Espinoza saying something to him that I've heard you say before, George. You don't have to throw hard shots, just bing, 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 and land them.
Be accurate, and that's what they want out of him. You start winding up, and Micky Ward is going to land one himself. Ooh, what a vicious body punch by Diaz. Right and the left.
Ward coming back with an uppercut, and then an overhand right.
Diaz just has his head right out there for Ward. All it takes is a 1-2 combination. There it is.
Hard right hand by Ward.
There it is. All night he's been
landed for Ward too, and Diaz feels the urge to fight back and comes back with a left-right combo of his own. Now Ward trying to dig to the body with that left, and Diaz gets his own left hook into the body.
No, it was down on the leg. Too low.
And Smoker's taking a point away from Antonio Diaz, which will make it a closer fight.
That could be a 2-point round for Micky Ward.
They touch gloves with 7 of 10 rounds now in the books. And as Larry pointed out, quite conceivably a 2-point round for Ward.
The middle. Huh? I'm going to get him in the middle. I know you are. All right? Hey, Phil, come on, man. Come on.
Gotta get yourself off those ropes, brother.
Stay right there. Shoot up the middle. Boom, 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 boom.
8th round.
All right? Then hook to the boy, not the one.
This is your life, baby. This is your life. Come on, you gotta do it. You're standing in there. Ya aquí lo vas a knockear. You almost knocked him out. But you don't follow up on him. You're drinking too much water.
You're not even stepping back and throwing, Toño.
Come on. Mira.
There's that right hand flush. Not quite on the jaw, but on the jawbone. And the low blow here cost him a point. That was like Tiger's free putt today. That put everybody else into the PGA tournament, Jim. That put Ward right back in the fight point-wise.
Tiger made a double bogey in a major championship, and the earth shook, right? Round 8 of a scheduled 10. Antonio Diaz seemingly in control through much of the bout, but it's a war of attrition, and Micky Ward may feel as though his best rounds are coming up.
That's why I said early on, you don't want a young, excellent conditioned fighter fighting a slugfest like this with a guy who's cagey, experienced, and a puncher. You just going against it. You win, but at what cost?
Good combination by Diaz. And blood trickling now from the nose of Micky Ward.
It looks like it's the bridge of the nose, Jim, not just...
And a hard right hand by Diaz stuns Ward. Ward coming back instinctively with the left hook.
That punch lifted Ward's right foot off the canvas.
It hurt.
Diaz punching as though he feels the need for a big round here after being penalized in the last one. Ward gets to the body with the right hand. Diaz retaliates upstairs.
Watch your head.
Can't believe Diaz is willing to mix it up. I mean, he's doing it.
Well, I'm not sure how easy it would have been to stay away, George. Ward is so determined to be inside.
Well, plus, Diaz is not really a boxer. He has some boxing skills. This is his kind of fight too.
Evidently. Ward is going to have some problems with the blood around the eyes now, so he makes it through this corner. His corner men are going to really have to do a good job.
Go to the corner and see where that cut is, George.
It's a big, bad cut.
Yeah, it looks like it's inside the bridge of the nose near the eye. We can't tell for sure because there's so much blood there.
Left hook, left uppercut, right, left uppercut by Ward.
Ward's brother trainer, Dick Eklund, got in 40 rounds of sparring with his brother in preparation for the fight. Not too many trainers spar 40 rounds for the fight. Closing seconds of the 8th round, they're just pumping away.
Diaz still has a lot of strength to push away, so that means he's in shape.
Let's go, man.
That was a butt, wasn't it? Stay still.
Open. Keep running.
It's hard, Doc.
Keep running.
9th round, fellas.
Veteran cut man Al Gavin working here in Ward's corner. One of the very best cutmen in the sport. He's also Lennox Lewis's cut man.
You got this guy now. He's tired.
Doing a lot more work here than he's ever had to do for Lewis.
Here's Diaz coming forward. Can't be discouraged. And here's that straight right hand.
Round 8 copy box numbers: Diaz 33 out of 72, Ward 24 out of 81. Mostly power shots again. Little breathing room for Diaz on the Letterman card. Ward trying to guard that cut. Diaz trying to target it with the right hand.
Diaz is starting to beat Ward to the punch now.
Straight right hand lands. Let's see if that'll start the blood flowing.
Ward waits for a moment to counter. Diaz gets him before he can even get back into position. He has speed and endurance in the latter round.
And as you say, the strength to continue pushing off.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that.
Hard right hand by Ward. Still to come tonight, Prince Nassim Hamed defending his featherweight crown against the Las Vegas Kid, Augie Sanchez. 23 knockouts in 27 fights. Uppercut by Diaz, straight right hand by Diaz. Ward wobbles again.
Diaz is feeling it. He feels Ward weakening.
Ward continuously goes to the body. Sometimes you run into guys who are conditioned like Diaz, and they're a hard number to beat.
Ward landing a big right hand, coming back with a left hook. Diaz still standing there, takes another shot on the chin. Crowd rises to try to support the Massachusetts fighter. Diaz with Ward's blood on his face. It'll be a slip.
No knockdown. A slip. Time.
Anytime the fighters are near the painted area, there's a chance of the foot slipping and going down.
Give me a towel or something.
And so Steve Smoger now wants the moisture wiped up off the paint.
And at that point in the round, Jim, it looked like Diaz was the one who could use the blow.
Absolutely right. Ward was having a big rally.
Time in.
Left hook lands for Ward, and another one.
Oh, that hurt.
Where
Diaz was hurt.
Right hand to the chin of Diaz. That little rest period may have been critical in helping Antonio Diaz to get out of the 9th round without being knocked down. And there you see the cut over the left eye of Antonio Diaz from one of the hard right hands by Micky Ward.
Coño, tú eres el que está Piper, baby. Ya él puso Piper. Come on, coño.
Yeah.
You got it, man.
You get it. Keep it.
He's dead tired, Nick.
Nick, I know you're tired. Here's where you come through.
You're the champion. Come on.
All right. That's right, brother.
Let's do it. All right?
Come
Come on.
Come on. Let's go, man.
Show a fight, man.
Let's go, man.
Let's go.
Come on. Let's go, man. Come on, man.
Close fight. Good fight. Going into the 10th. Both fighters now with cuts on their faces. Harold, how do you have it going to the closing round?
Okay, Jim. 6 rounds to 3. 86-84. Antonio Diaz. I still think he's the stronger guy and the harder puncher. But I want to tell you something. I got to talk to Steve Smoger about that point he took away. At least one guy once. One long blow, slightly below the belt line, and he takes a point without a warning.
I think at some point earlier he did issue a warning.
But if so, we didn't clock it.
Well, there had been a lot going on during the fight. The referee had been looking at for a while, those low punches.
And since there was no big protest from Diaz or his corner, maybe they had been verbally warned by Smoger at some point along the way. Both fighters determined to put their imprint on the fight here in the 10th. And who knows, the fight may well be on the table. Diaz lands his uppercut.
Diaz is not only a good, strong boxer. He is endurance and pain. He can handle pain.
Oh yeah, the winner of this fight will have earned it in a big way.
This is almost primitive. When I watch two young men going at this like this, you know, it humbles me. They've given so much of themselves in this fight.
That's why they call it fighting.
This is fighting.
They boxed for a round. It's been a fight ever since then. So can Antonio Diaz, son of agricultural laborers from the dry desert of California, travel 3,000 miles east and get a decision win over Irish Micky Ward of Lowell, Massachusetts, not too far down the road in Foxwoods, Connecticut. We're 15 seconds from finding out.
Whoever gets this fight, it will not be a gift.
God bless you both.
The inevitable moment of mutual respect from two guys who gave it all they had for 10 rounds. And now the judges will try to render a fair decision. In the 10th round, by CompuBox numbers, Antonio Diaz landed 39 of 75 punches, 52%. Micky Ward threw 108 punches, landing 29 of them. So if the judges were looking for activity, it was Ward who rose to the occasion. But if they were looking for connected, clean punches, it was Diaz who did that. Harold Letterman, how did you score it?
Okay, Jim, I got it 95-94, 6 rounds to 4, Antonio Diaz. I thought he did enough to win the fight, Jim. The guy was younger, stronger, worked hard, kept throwing a heck of a lot of shots. I thought he unfairly lost the point in round 7 when Smoger took it away. Micky Ward tried plan B in round 5 when he went southpaw. I don't know if you noticed that, and it really didn't work for him, to tell you the truth. So, anyway, 6-4, very close fight. Diaz by 1 point.
Did you take that point away also?
Absolutely, you had to. Referee takes away a point for low blow. It becomes a 10-8 round because Micky won a round. I'm dead, right?
What's your hunch, George?
Well, I think that he took the point away and became more than 1 point. I think 55 Ward, 54 Diaz.
Roy Jones, what's your take on this down there in Pensacola? Do you believe that the judges here, who incidentally are from Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York, are going to give a decision to Diaz?
I don't know. They could call it a draw. It was a tough fight. I thought Diaz really won the fight, though, because he did land the clear punches, land more cleaner punches than did Ward. Ward did come on strong like we knew he would. But the other thing you have to look at, too, is that Ward did make the younger fighter, who was Diaz, fight his fight. And Diaz is a good fighter inside, but Ward still initiated the pace and the tempo of the fight.
I think the points have all been covered. Thank you, Roy. This could go either way.
Well said. Well said.
And now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer and find out who won.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 grueling rounds, once more a round of applause for these two warriors in the ring. We go to the scorecards. Tommy Kazmarek scores it 96-93. Glenn Feldman has it 95-94. Melvina Lathan scores at 96-93. All for the winner by unanimous decision, Antonio "Tonio" Diaz.
Good judging, good solid decision, excellent fight by both fighters. Antonio Diaz, age 24, takes another step toward title contention in the 140-pound weight class with a strong and creditable performance, coming all the way across the country to fight Micky Ward more or less in his own backyard. Final CompuBox numbers: 297 out of 727 for Diaz, 223 out of 777 for Ward. Diaz with significantly higher connect percentage. And incidentally, all three official judges scored the 10th round for Antonio Diaz. In fact, he won the last 3 rounds on 2 of the 3 cards, and that, in effect, produced the final margin of victory. And you can see that in power punches, the margin was very close. Diaz landing just a little more and at a higher rate. Ward throwing 592 power shots. And Larry Merchant stands by with Antonio Diaz.
Thanks, Jim. And thank you guys for a terrific fight. Tell everybody what you just said to Micky.
He's a tough fighter. Was that a hell of a fight or what? Tough fighters, tough warriors.
How about you, Micky? What was that like for you?
Oh, that was tough. That's what it's about, though. You know, I don't get no easy fights. He ain't gonna have no easy fights coming. You know what I mean? This is it. They paid to see us fight. Where's our money for us? All these big guys got the money. What do we get? We put on the best show there is.
You wanted to come out and box him more. Was he too persistent, or did you just sense that maybe because you're 10 years younger that you could stand in there and go with him?
You know, at the beginning of when I got here, at the press conference, I said I was ready for whatever. You know, I came out trying to box. But like I said, Micky Ward's a tough warrior. He started pressuring, and I said, hey, you know, I'm gonna try it inside. I liked it inside. I like the crowd. You know, they enjoyed a good fight, and that's what boxing is all about.
Micky, what now?
We'll sit back, see what happens. See what I don't know. It's a tough loss. You know, we trained hard for it. He was a better man tonight. I give him all the credit in the world. You know, no hard feelings. He's a good man, good fighter. I wish him all the success in the world. And I'll be back maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
Thank you. 2 gentlemen warriors, Jim.
Doggone right. George Foreman, good fight, good fighters, great sportsmanship.
You got to believe it. They were both winners. The judges just had to give it to someone.
Well, and they gave it to the right guy, I think, because he did land the cleaner punches.
And I think he's ready right now. I like to see Diaz in the championship, world-class championship match now. There's no one that can say, I can walk over this guy.
If he fights Costa-Zoo, it'll be an all-out war.
And he's ready to do it.
All right. Well, we'll
ready.
see if it happens. Meanwhile, still to come tonight, you've got Prince Nassim Hamed, the headliner, getting ready to defend the world featherweight crown against an unlikely challenger, Kid Vegas. Augie Sanchez, who despite his 23 knockouts in 27 fights, is lightly regarded and a heavy underdog against Hamed. Let's look ahead to some upcoming programs here on HBO.